Hi class, I thought it was time for me to set up a video for you guys to give you a bit more explanation for Essay 1. So this week you're going to be diving into the writing process, and the first thing you should be doing is looking at the prompt and reading it really carefully. I thought I would actually go over the prompt with you guys so that there isn't any confusion as to how the approach should be for this first essay. So I am looking over the prompt right now. So the prompt basically will ask you about consumer culture and whether consumer culture impacts people positively or negatively. So the first things first, this is an argumentative essay, which means that you must take a position. You can't be both positive and negative when it comes to an argumentative essay. You must be either writing a positive paper or you should be writing a negative paper. Now, if you remember in the writing process leading up to this first unit, there is the consideration of a counter argument. So review the template particularly and specifically, because that template basically tells you exactly what I am requiring as far as the essay structure goes. In addition, I also put up a sample essay in this unit, and the sample essay, although is on a different topic, literally tells you and shows you how I grade an A-level paper. So you will see an introduction that leads to a thesis statement, and then body paragraphs that start with topic sentences, development, research, examples, counter argument, and then continues on to the next paragraph. I'd like to make a note that many students are very much used to writing counter arguments as a separate paragraph near the end of their essay. We don't do that in this class. If you reviewed the notes carefully, you will realize that the counter argument is 1 to 2 sentences per paragraph countering the argument made in that particular paragraph. Review the sample essay closely and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But please make sure you do not write a separate counter argument paragraph. This will deduct points for you because that is not the approach in this class. Moving forward. So after you've made your decision that you are writing either a positive or negative paper, you will also realize that on the prompt, there are areas that there's an area that says consider the following. And the considering the following portion does not mean that you have to write your essay on all of these areas. This is basically kind of like getting you guys to start brainstorming where your focus should be or where you'd like your focus to be. For example, it says how popular culture or media influences consumer habits, sales, holidays, or how people identify with certain products positively or negatively. How people disconnect or connect through spending, shopping, and online shopping. How luxurious items become alluring. How children are influenced and how the genders are targeted. So for example, if you wanted to write, let's say on the first area, how popular culture media influences consumer habits, you could do something like a paper where you address Black Friday and the way that sales are set up to give you buy one, get one options, or the way that, certain kind of ways that the items are marketed in order to get you back for more. You could write a whole paper on just brand identity and how that influences our shopping habits, how we identify with brands, how logos say something about us. You could write a whole paper on children and how children start from a young age being influenced and then grow up to be young adults or teenagers who want more, and then it ultimately influences their adult behavior. If you'd like to do gender, this is one of the most popular ways that my students like to approach it. You could do something very simple where you design your 3 paragraphs around how young girls, teenage girls, and then women are influenced, or young boys, teenage boys, or men are influenced. Remember, try to keep it to like one gender throughout so that it doesn't do a compare contrast. You just want to keep it with a narrow focus. So I just want to make sure that you guys are narrowing your focus as far as the areas to consider, and do not think that you have to cover all bullet points. Excuse me. Then the next thing that you will also have to keep in mind, all of your paragraphs should specify examples. We covered a lot in visual rhetoric. We also have been covering a topic that's based entirely on advertisements and commercials. So just make sure that whatever arguments you're making per paragraph, that you should have some kind of example, whether it's an item, a commercial, an advertisement, a slogan, everything that you kind of learn in visual rhetoric. Apply that now. Show, excuse me, show that in your claims. Your research is different, because research is going to validate what you have to say through an actual source. Examples will reflect what you have to say. For example, I gave you guys readings from your textbook. I also gave you guys lecture notes, but in addition, I also gave you guys media clips to show what exactly all the text has been writing about. You're kind of doing the same thing in this essay. The next thing, as far as the actual topic goes, I'm going to emphasize this, and I'm going to repeat this in your announcements. Please make sure that this topic is entirely based on a social, cultural impact. Do not write your papers on business, consumer culture, or the impacts on health. Nothing about weight gain, smoking, all that kind of stuff. Do not talk about the environment. Do not talk about import, export, because that's not the approach we're taking. If you notice, your book, the media clips, the lecture notes, all our approaches are entirely based on more of a social approach. That means how it's influencing the individual or the group masses or the genders or a specific group like children, and how marketing is being used as some kind of convincing and manipulative tool. So make sure you stay on topic. I assure you that if you go off topic and talk about health, environment, business, etc., you will not get a full grade. At most, even if it's well written, you'll only be getting a 50%. Finally, let's talk about format. The format requires that you write a 12-point font, Times New Roman, 1-inch margin, and a 4-page paper. I'm a stickler for format. I will be taking off 2 points for this first essay, and that's off of your percentage points. As far as anybody that doesn't meet the page requirement or writes the format that is not outlined on the template, on the prompt. So please make sure specifically at least get that to the full 4 pages, because if not, that's definitely showing you that points will be deducted. And with each essay, that deduction goes up and in point value. So that's pretty much it as far as this essay goes. So make sure you read the announcements and go through everything. Oh yeah, one more thing before I forget. The one thing that you'll be working on this week is a formal outline. I have specifically given a template for this week that you should follow. Please make sure you are following that template, because this is a 30-point assignment, and that template in completion will gain the 30 points. Please do not write a draft, because you will get a 0. Please do not write your version of an outline either, as this is specifically made for you to break down and almost draft your essay, but in a little bit more of an organized format before you actually get onto the draft for a final draft. If anything is of concern or anything didn't make sense, or you would just like to simply ask questions, please don't hesitate to email me. I'm more than happy to help you guys with the essay process, because I know it's the first essay, and I also know that for some people the step-by-step process helps, but some people need a little bit more explanation. I'm more than happy to give you guys feedback, but I do not edit paper. So please, when you do email me, ask me specifically whether you want thesis help, whether you're stuck developing a paragraph, or what kind of example you need, and I can always help you with examples. But please don't ask me for grammar checks or edits or anything like that. Otherwise, I just say, move forward, and time to get started on this first essay. I'll help you guys out again with the second essay. But again, please email me or set up a chat hour on Canvas. We can always do that too in real time. And if you guys don't have time for it, again, I emphasize, please email me. More than happy to help. Have a good weekend.